Hey everyone, welcome to the AAPEX pre-show podcast, the podcast that talks about everything you need to know before you go to the show. Because if you've ever been to the show, there's a lot going on. And if you haven't been before, we're here to give you the insight you need to be able to navigate it. And today we're talking about training. Lots of technical training, business training, workshops, sessions at the show that can fill your brain full of the technical and business knowledge you need to run a successful company in the automotive aftermarket, and we're not doing it alone. We've brought in two experts on AAPEX who have been there many times to help us navigate this. We're going to be talking with Kathleen Callahan, owner of Xpertech Auto Repair out of Englewood, Florida, and Bernard Tansey, co-founder, COO of Euroclinic, European Auto Specialist out of Santa Clara, California. Let's see what advice they have to share. Kathleen, B, great to see you. Thanks for taking the time. Happy to talk with you both today.
Good to see you too, and you'd be.
Happy to be here.
So we're talking workforce development. Obviously, the thing that comes to mind when we talk about workforce development is, of course, the technician shortage. It's a big talking point. It's ever present. As shop owners too, I want to get a sense for how do you see this impacting you at the shop owner level and the operation you run, and how are you working through it and overcoming it? Kathleen, let's start with you.
So I think I have a little bit of a unique situation. I have some pretty good longevity in my team, but my guys are a little bit older as far as technicians go. Mm-hmm. I have one apprentice that I found through an affiliation and a sign on my building, but recruiting for technicians is difficult, right? Especially in our area. My pool is people who have retired from up north and relocated to Florida. Okay. So it's a challenge, right? And finding people that are skilled, that are a culture and personality fit. So it's difficult. I've been getting connected with our local tech schools to try and recruit in some younger people that are a little bit educated. Yeah. So we'll see how that works.
Yeah, very good. B, how about you?
Well, we're in the Silicon Valley. We're in the heart of the Bay Area. Car culture is big. You've got two major different worlds. You got guys that are super into cars that might want to become an automotive technician. But in my backyard, I've got Facebook, Google, NVIDIA. I can throw football to them. When you see what those salaries look like, most people are leaning towards the IT world. So it's a little difficult. And then trying to find those technicians that actually want to do it. How do you separate yourself from other dealerships, independent shops, dealer alternatives, performance shops? I had my shop coach tell us once, the reason why you're not getting the talent that you want is you're actually not attractive enough. And that broke my little heart. And I'm thinking to myself, well, then what do we need to do as a shop, as a business, to attract these A players, these B players, you know? Right. What sets, if I have a technician that's at a dealership and he's happy there, what's the incentive? What will entice him to come to us? You know, it's our culture. Obviously we pay really well. Our facility is nice. We offer snacks and drinks. You know, there's a storage room. They have full access to stuff. We have a chiropractor that comes the third Thursday of every month and adjusts everybody. We cover that. He does it in the middle of the shop. You know what I mean? So if a guy's in the middle of a service, he runs over there, gets adjusted for 20 minutes, gets back to work.
No way.
So how do you set yourself apart and be attractive to even get the talent that's out there? Because if we're on a technician shortage, you know, it's like buying a house. You know, if it's a buyer's market, it's the same thing. Like, what makes you want to buy this house, or what makes that technician want to come work for you as opposed to the guy down the street or the dealer? And that's I think is the biggest challenge.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, are you taking applications? Because now I'm sitting here like, I guess I could use an adjustment. Same. I'm like, all right, well, Kathleen, what do you got? I mean, I'll play off both of you here, because I mean, and I think there's a couple really interesting things highlighted there too. Yes, there's recruitment. There's also retention. Right, and they often go hand in hand. You want to keep your best techs, and if you have that environment and have that culture and establish that, it helps on the recruitment side. The technology, the location in California, Silicon Valley is super interesting too, because as you note, competition with those tech companies, and that is super attractive to some of the younger folks. But as we all know in the automotive space, it's becoming increasingly integrated with the latest technologies. You think about ADAS and those types of things. I mean, there's no
Correct.
shortage of things to learn. And going into AAPEX this year in 2025, I know the show's expanding technician training and even launching, they're going to launch this really cool event, a student engine assembly competition to bring in those folks, right? Get them exposed to what's going on, because you walk around the show floor, there's tons of technology that to take in. But from your all's view, why do you think events like this matter for the industry, and how, do you see the effect, the positive effect on your shop in the long run with getting those folks involved? You know what, B, we'll start with you on this one.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every time you're there, every year there's something new. So we always come back with these new golden nuggets. And I'm like, hey guys, check this out. This new system's coming out. This new tool's coming out. You remember how we struggled trying to do this? Well, they figured it out. Look what I've got. I come back with pictures. I come back with pamphlets.
Oh, cool.
Sometimes I got an application for a business loan. I'm like, hey, we're getting this, and it also amplifies the staff, and they're like, hey, they care about what we're doing. They want to make our life easier. They're getting us the tools and equipment that we need. And also it's making the connections out there. I get to be face to face and shake hands with some of our vendors, and sometimes they let us in on little insights. They're like, hey, don't tell anybody this, but we got this coming up. I'm like, oh, that's perfect. That's exactly what we need. So I think it's super beneficial.
Yeah. Kathleen, how about you?
I agree wholeheartedly with B. Having the classes are amazing. Of course, I'm leaning more into, because I'm not a tech, right? B is a tech and knows all of the technical side, and I firmly believe that the technicians we currently have need to stay into their continuing education.
Right.
So on the ownership and the advising side, I think it's just as important to go and check all that out. But going on, I'm a technical tool nerd as well, so I love the fact that we can go out there and see the new technologies that are coming out. You can talk, where else in the world can you go and talk to 15 or 20 or 30 different vendors that, as a shop owner, I have to say, so I'm probably not who they're selling directly to. They're going to sell to my supplier. Well, boy, that gives me information to go back to my supplier and say, I need you to go check this out for me and do some research.
Right.
Like, I want this, I talked to this is the technology coming. And I think the amount of knowledge and the amount of different manufacturers and distributors and trainers and all of that in one place is unmatched in any other conference that we even consider going to in a year. So no matter what position you hold within the industry, there is something at AAPEX for you, or that you could bring back to your shop, company, wherever you fit into the industry, that will apply and benefit the entire team you're on.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, and, it goes going back to how much the repair jobs are changing, how much vehicles are changing, and how much you want to enact change in your own business, right? I know we do a lot of talking as leaders. We want to be able to, yes, have our eye on the ball on the job that needs done today, but you want to look out into the future and make sure you're making the right moves, make sure you're making the right investments, and B, to your point too, the team, when the team can see that, right, when they can see the leaders doing that in the company, they feel more invested as well. But to your point, there's a lot going on at AAPEX. Lots and lots of things going on. So I'm super interested in how you two tackle it, right? Specifically on the training side. Do you go in there with certain sessions circled? Like, do you have a hit list of sessions you want to get to? And how do you balance that with giving yourself the room to discover those opportunities as you're walking the floor too? How do you work your schedule, Kathleen?
So that's a great question. I used to go, years ago, I would plan every minute of my time, and then I think that is not a great strategy, because you don't leave room for, the really cool stuff to happen. So this year I went through all of the classes. I kind of picked out the ones that I'd like to go to. I have the pleasure of being able to facilitate a class this year. So clearly I'll be at that one. But I like to plan a few. I look at it like scheduling my technicians' days in the shop. I don't want to schedule all 8 or 9 hours, because I got to leave room for toe-ins and and exciting things that pop out. Like last year, I was in one class and one of my colleagues from Nevada said, "Hey, I'm going to this other class and it's about XYZ. Do you want to go with me?" And so I had the opportunity to kind of improvise and add. So I really think that going in with a plan and a loose agenda, but remaining flexible is critical as a shop owner, because there's so many new things out there every single year. You can't possibly plan for all of them, and you really need to leave room for the magic, right?
Love it.
The worst 3 days of when I come back from anything is for my team is the first 3 days after. They're like, she's going to bring in all this new stuff. I want to change all these things. And so that's the worst for them, but I can't wait. I do it all the time. So
that's awesome. B, what's your take?
I mean, yeah, she hit it on the head there. There's so much to do. There's so much to see. How do you maximize your 3, 4, 5 days that you're going to be out there to make sure that you can bring back and make sure it's well worth it. One of the things that I look at is some of the classes. Now, if I'm bringing my staff, we might split up, and I'm like, okay, divide and conquer. I'm going to send these 2 to this class because these are our ATEX. They're really going to benefit from this course. Or, you know, my other team here, I might send them over here. I might even jump into class just so I have the content and I can bring it back and we can all kind of share this data together. I would also be mindful, just because something may sound really cool, are you ever going to use that information, or does it even apply to you? There may be something where they're talking about big rig air brakes. That's awesome, but we don't work on that. I never see one. So I'm not going to waste my time there when I could be more beneficial somewhere else. Right. So I would just keep that in mind and make sure, like, yeah, this might be cool. And if you have the time, of course, go in there, support that presenter, and you'll probably get something out of it. But could your time be better useful in this course that you're going to use and take back and actually make a positive change with?
Yeah, you really have to have a return on your investment, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was going to say, as a truck guy, it pains me to also agree with that, but I hear that too. So, okay, so two quick follow-up questions for both of you then. So, B, any topics that are on your radar this year? Are you going in looking for any sessions on any specific topics, technologies, anything like that you're keeping an eye on?
Yeah, especially anything that's new that's coming out that, you know, the independent world, we don't get as much training and information as quickly as the dealerships and manufacturers do. So anything that I see that's coming out that is new and improved, it's like, hey, let's jump on that. I want to always stay ahead of the curve. You know, if there's basic fuel injection, I'm not going to go to that because we've got that covered. Show me the latest, greatest. I like the new shiny thing, you know, and that's what I'm going to focus on. Or if I know that I might have somebody struggling in one department, or if my business is struggling in one department. You know, I know some of the presenters, it's going to be great this year. I think it's going to be one of the best years. Some of our presenters are the best that we've ever had, and the content, all the way down to even just how you treat your employees.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's something that's going to be great for shop owners that most of them may not even think about, especially if they're like me, that was just a technician that opened up a shop. You're just worried about cranking cars in hours.
Right.
You know, there's so much more meat to running a business that it's going to benefit them so much. They're going to come out with a whole different aspect on how to even treat their employees, their business, their clients as a whole.
Right. No, I mean, I appreciate that too. You get into something you love, then you build a business out of it. And what do you mean there's like HR and payroll and all this complicated business stuff that management, you know, it's different. It's different.
Hey, now that's my jam.
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's different. But well, Kathleen, I was going to say, you're running a session. Plug your session. What are you going to be diving into? What are you going to teach us?
I'm doing a session called Elevating Your Client Service to Increase Your Bottom Line. So it's really all about customer service and how little things make gigantic differences. But I will tell you, so they're doing a I don't think they've done it before. Maybe I missed it. So, but on Tuesday morning, they're doing a thing called Meet the Trainer. Mm-hmm. So all of the trainers have the opportunity for people to come and hear you and ask questions, like on site, and make the decision to like sign up for your class, right?
Oh, that's cool.
Where in the world do you get the chance to go, here's a snippet and a preview, let me meet you and decide, like, wait a minute, maybe I do want to take that class or listen to it, right? Like I'm a fairly new trainer in the industry and doing classes, so writing titles and making descriptions sound really exciting and to convey my energy level through words in a 150 word blurb is really tough, right? So I'm really excited to facilitate that. But I will say, B touched on it a little. The one session I'm looking the most forward to is something that I think is it's really new this year that I'm starting to see. But Margaret Light is doing a couple of sessions. One of them is on mental health and substance abuse in our industry. And that hits really, really hard, at least for me. I have struggled with watching technicians, service advisors, and I think it's not unique to our industry, but I think learning as an owner or as a manager or even a coworker and team member, how to support and deal with people that have mental health and substance abuse issues, right? So I have to say, of all the days, that's really the one that I'm looking the most forward to. I think it's a great insight that our industry needs to not turn a blind eye to anymore. We really need to figure out how to be supportive. And, it used to be just go to work, don't ask questions, fix the cars and go home. And that's not the society we're living in anymore, right? The younger people coming in need a little more support. And I think it's fantastic. I love that they're embracing, normalizing, maybe some mental health or substance abuse challenges. So I think that's going to be dynamic. They're going to need a bigger room.
I'm glad you mentioned that one, because I saw that on there and I thought to myself, I've never had that issue. I've never had employees that I had to deal with that. I guess I've just been lucky. We've talked to other shop owners and they're like, yeah, I've had to go through that a number of times. So this class is going to benefit them. But I'm looking at this, I want to go in that class anyway, so that I'm prepared if it ever does happen.
Right.
My wife likes to say it's not a problem until it is. So if we can get ahead of that, and I'm already prepared on those challenges, as opposed to trying to figure out on the fly when it happens. So even in this case, I would have never thought I was going to go to a course like that, but now it's top 2 on my radar.
Yep. And the other one is the student competition. I can't wait to go see that. I know B has had a huge hand in really being an organizer and part of that. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't realize that. So B, what should we be ready for?
Oh, I can't tell you anything about it.
Oh, okay. Super secret. We got to show up. We got to go to the technician. I see. You get your two.
If you want to know, you got to
go.
That's it. You want to know, you got to go.
Love it. And then you got to go.
A little bit. We are reaching out to some of the top tech schools in the country to send us some technicians. They're going to be representing their school on stage. I think we're going to have about 8 different teams. There's going to be tool prizes, trophies, plaques to take back to their school. It's going to be super exciting.
That's so cool. Yeah, so definitely everyone listening and watching, you got to go to that. And then you got to show up Tuesday morning and go meet Kathleen, because she will definitely recruit you you'll just want to go to the session. It'll happen. But, and going back to it too, the mental health and substance abuse, again, going back to those are those management issues that are really difficult to deal with, not just the person going through it, but then to your point, the manager and being able to support them, right? And in an industry where we want our diagnostic information to be able to fix this thing, right? That's what we want. That makes sense to us. We want to go through and figure out those soft skills. It's not as easy to do it. Those kind of education sessions give you those I guess management diagnostics for you to be able to fix that in your business. How about
I like that management diagnostics.
There we go. Well, go ahead. You can use that. That one's for free.
Okay, I'm writing that one down. It's going in the class.
All right. One last question, because I think tons of advice here, and it's great. So and B, you mentioned this too, bringing your team along. If you have a young technician or apprentice, or even someone that just hasn't been to AAPEX before, that's going this year, What is your advice? What do they need to see? What do they need to experience? What kind of words of wisdom can you impart to those folks? B, what do you got?
Put yourself in front of what you use every day, the tools and equipment, see what's new, see what's coming out. Get in front of the people that work there. They love to talk. They love to talk to you as one of their clients. They're going to give you great information on maybe you're not using their product the right way. I've even fell victim of that. I'm talking with someone and they're like, oh yeah, have you done this? I'm like, no, I didn't even know it did that. So that's definitely going to help you out on the product that you're currently using. I just think it's always awesome to see the people that are there that help develop it, that they're selling their products. They're going to be the most knowledgeable, and you're going to get a lot out of it.
Right. Very good. Kathleen, what are your thoughts?
So obviously I echo what B says, right? Go check out the things that you work on. Like it's all good and fun to go look at the new shiny objects. That's great. But go look at the technology that is adjacent to what you're already doing or what your shop is doing, right? The other piece I would say that I always think is really critical, don't forget about the hallway learning, right? We go out there, there's a lot of cool parties, right? There's a lot of cool parties that the vendors put on. My number one advice is don't overdo it. Don't lose tomorrow because you're having a good time today, right? Like, I know that sounds silly, but we've all done it. You do it at least once, but really lean into the hallway learning, making connections, and even as a technician, connect with other technicians, right? You're not looking to recruit each other, but boy, when you have a really hard day or you just can't figure something out, I've had scenarios when I've had to pick up the phone and call B, and we're the entire country apart from each other. Right. Man, I really need some help on this, right? Or, that's the beauty of making the connections at conferences. I met Bernard's wife through Women in Auto Care, and then had the pleasure of getting connected with B. And it's amazing what comes out of some of those things. So don't discount that piece of it. The socializing part of it is not quite as important as the continuing education and the information, but I'd say a good 40%, right? 60 in CEU and tools and stuff like that. But don't forget to leave 35 to 40% for socializing and networking, because making the connections is really, really important.
Everyone there everyone's there to help each other. We're all there to learn. So you'll be surprised how many contacts you'll bring back. And like Kathleen says, you never know when you need to pick up that phone. And everyone that I've contacted, it might be 6-8 months down the line, and they're super excited to hear from me. They want to play catch up the whole time. Like, well, hold on. How come this fault is here? But it's awesome, the connections that you're going to make.
Yeah. The one other piece I'll say to that is, look, like B said, everybody wants to play catch up. It's like, it's like a big happy class reunion, because I never really enjoy my high school class reunions, right? Same. But this is like a family reunion of a bunch of people that you absolutely love, right? So and none of us have enough time, right? That you think, oh, it's a week. No, it's never enough time. But the one piece that I think we all, and I am guilty of it, as I'm probably the most guilty, is make the connections, follow up. Don't go home and then not reach back out to that person with an email or a text or, a LinkedIn or a Facebook message. Connect and follow up, stay in touch. Keep the momentum flowing, because it's got what, a 3-month shelf life be? Is that what you say?
Oh, yeah.
6 weeks to maybe 3 months that the excitement and the adrenaline starts to drop, but you need accountability people to lift that back up, so that we can make it to next year and accomplish those things. This part of my class but I put it in every one. Write down 10 things that you really, really found exciting out of the entire week that you're there. Narrow it down to 3 and bring those back and execute. And get an accountability partner on all 3 of those things. Make it worth your time, effort, and money investment, because it's a big deal, right? It's not cheap to go to Vegas. It's not, it's a lift, right? It's a lift to go to any conference, but this is the Super Bowl for our industry, and everybody should be there, right? So take the time to make sure that you follow up and continue on with your learning, because if you leave it there, it's totally not worth it. And I promise you, the trainers and the vendors and the manufacturers and all the people there have put a lot of time and effort into sharing their experience, strength, and hope with you. Don't leave it at the door when you walk back onto the airplane. So that's it. Soapbox moment off.
Love it. Well, it's a great reason for me to follow up with both of you when I'm at the show. I want to thank you both for taking the time to talk. And everyone else, we'll see you at AAPEX.